So we left off. We left off by the two dots. Ayin Aleph and Beis. Yeah. See that? About 10, 12 lines up. Yes, going to be Shalab v'Tavach v'Macha. So this is talking about another big tzaddik over here. He stole his father's animal, right? And then he shechted it or sold it, and then his father died. So what's going on over here? So he yarshins his father, right? So he yarshins his father. So, but the Yerusha happened after he was chayav daled b'hei, right? Because he stole it when his father was alive. Then he was chayav to his sibling. Well, he was chayav to his father daled b'hei, and now everybody yarshin. So then he has to pay it. The next mission is going to say that if his father died first and then he shechted it, then he's going to be potter, right? Yeah. So anyway, so let's see. So Rav and Rav Nachman. So Rav had a shayla from Rav Nachman. Gonav shor shel shnei shutvin utavcha. So let's say shor was owned by partners, and he stole it and he shechted it. And he was maided to one of them, right? Meaning, what does that mean? He's saying a half a story. I mean, did he steal it or did he not steal it? Right. So he's saying to one of the guys, he said, "What do you mean? I bought yours. I taka stole. Your half I stole. The other half, I bought off him. I bought his share from him. So I wasn't a gunner, right? Right. So meaning the mela, meaning he knows he's masking. He stole the one half. The other half, he said, belongs to him. Right? So again, so Ganav shor shel shnei shutim, he stole the shor from two shutim, v'tavcha and he shechted, v'haydalech when he was minded to one of them. So what's the din? Chamisha bakar amar Rachmana, right? So the Torah says that if you steal from somebody, you shecht it. Chamisha bakar yishalim tachas hashor, v'arba tzayin tachas haser, right? You pay 5 for a shor, 4 for a set. V'loi chamisha chatzai bakar, and not 5 half bakar. Because again, he was by half. Right? So that party doesn't pay daled b'hei. Right? Because we know that when he's mighty, you don't pay daled b'hei. It's only when you get caught you pay daled b'hei. It says 5 bakar and even 5 half bakar. That was the shayla. He told him no, he's going to be potter because the pasuk says he has to pay back 5 bakar, not 5 half bakars. Fine. So then Esvei, so they asked the kasha. Now let's just, before we do the kasha, so basically,
what is it?
Yeah.
I don't know how it would be apply here, but don't we have machlokes about shutfim in general? That are they partners in the whole thing? They own half of the whole thing, or each one owns half. This guy owns the legs and the kidneys. The other guy owns the arms and the nose. You say they're partners in the whole thing, no? I mean, isn't that always good from a problem or a question?
Yeah, so that's a Brera issue, but here it doesn't make a difference because at the end of the day, whichever chelik the guy has, he doesn't have to pay. No. So Mamela, he doesn't have to. That's the shiloh. So now, once the guy, just as a hakadama to the Gemara's kasha. Once the father dies, Irish, he becomes an owner in this animal. Now, even though he's from his father, but now he becomes an owner in the animal. So am I blanking out?
No.
Am I freezing up at all? The video keeps freezing. Okay, so he becomes...
No, you're good.
Meaning okay, thanks. He becomes a part owner in the thing, right? So Mamela, he's like a shutuf now. Once he gets caught with the kepo, right? Again, once he yarshins, and now he's a shutuf with his brothers in the thing. He's his own shutuf, which means he would be maided to himself, right? Because he's not going to lie to himself. That's what the assumption. He's not going to lie to himself. Let's see. Esvei, the first wide line. Esvei, Ganav Mishal Av, if he steals from his father, and then he shechts it v'achakach meis aviv, and then his father died. So Misham Tashumi Aruch Hamisha. The meis aviv here, since his father died, that's as if he went first before he got caught and was maida. Who's he maida to himself? Right? Again, he stole it, he shechted it. Then his father died. So then for himself, he's going to be maida, right? That he took it. Right? So now that means he's a partner. He was maida to one of the partners. Let's say it's two brothers. Right? So he was maida to one partner. It happens to be that partner is himself. So he was maida for Katani Misham Tashumei Aruch Hamisha, and we learn that he pays Dalid Vehei. So you see that you do have to pay. You do have to pay Dalid Vehei even if there's a partner. No, this is talking about where the father, before he died, brought his son to din, and Bezdin nailed the son. Right, Bezdin nailed the son without it. Right, meaning once Bezdin makes the Hamada B'din, now it means the son is already Chayit. So that's it. So
it's considered like,
but if he wasn't,
it's considered like he's paying the whole thing, just the part that goes to him, he's paying himself.
After Hamada B'din?
Yeah. He's still not paying the full 5.
He's not paying.
Let's say he has 3 brothers.
That's because one of the owners, but he was Chayiv.
So it's considered like he's paying himself?
Yeah, basically. Why not?
And heute niske.
Well, he's not being Zaycha. He's just
I was saying if I care. If either it's considered he's paying himself, or he has to pay the whole 5 to the other brothers. So he'll end up paying more than he really has to pay.
Right. Well, I don't know. Is he going to pay more?
Well, if he has, let's say he has 4 brothers. So really, each one would get a 5th, including himself.
Correct. So
since it's Chamisha Bakr and not Chamisha Chatzai Bakr, either it's as if he's paying himself a 5th, or the 5th that he would get, he has to split between the 4 brothers.
Okay, so
which one? I'm asking. Does he have to pay the whole 5 because Chamisha Bakr?
I think his chelak he doesn't have to pay.
Okay.
I think, but I don't know. We learned today about Choshen Mishpat. Stay far away from it. For Achinuch Mitzvah Reish Lamed Gimel. Stay far away from Choshen Mishpat Shilas. That's what it says. Basically, that's what it says. But anyways, but let's say he wasn't Amar B'din. So he's saying he doesn't pay Aruch Hamisha. If so, on the Tani's Seifa, and it says in the Seifa on Mishnah in 3 blot from now, which is goes through the opposite cases of our Mishnah. Gona Bishal of Umeis, he stole his father's animal and then he died. The father died. And then he shechted it, meaning once it was already his Yerusha, he shechted it. He doesn't pay Aruch Hamisha because he shechted his own slave. He has shechted his own animal. Right? So why do you need to go into that case? Meaning every time, we had this many times, whenever the Gemara wants to say a different case, right? So why do you have to go create a whole new scenario when you want to teach the opposite din? Just tweak the scenario that you're in, and that will teach you teach you a different psak. Right? Again, to nifloy b'dida, why don't they just split the case and say b'medvar b'shomer b'din? Meaning, why do you have to go with saying that the difference between the first case and the second case is if the father died before he shechted or after he shechted? Why don't we just say it's talking both cases talking about where he shechted it before the father died, and one is talking about where he was Amad B'din, and one is talking about where he was not Amad B'din, right? Now you have 2 cases: one where a guy steals from his father and he's chayiv, and you have another case where he's pater, and they're both and. Meaning, whenever the Gemara wants to do that and say, "Oh, this case you're chayav, this case you're pater," the Gemara always wants to try and keep the cases as similar as possible. Right? So here, instead of saying that the father died before or after the shechita, just say the father died after the shechita in both cases. The only difference is whether Bezdin nailed him before the father died or not. Right? Why don't you just say that? Amalei Hachanami. He said, yeah. But I did the Nasib Reisha, since in the Reisha it said, Gana Mishal Aviv Tavacham Achar. Since the Reisha said he stole it from his father and then he shechted it, and Achakach Meis Aviv, Nasib Sefer Nami, so wanted to say the Sefer also, Gana Mishal Aviv, Meis Aviv, Achakach Tavacham Achar, for wanted to, what's the word? It wants to keep some symmetry, I guess. It wanted to keep it symmetrical, so wanted to keep the cases similar. Fine. So that was his original psak. Again, his original psak was that you pay back partners when he's married to the one partner. So his original psak was that you don't pay. Letzafra, but in the morning, Amarlei, he told him, Chamisha Bakar, Amar Rachmanav, Afilu Chamisha Chatzai Bakar. He changed his mind. And at night he told him they don't have to pay. Because the pasuk says 5 full bakar, not 5 half bakar. And then in the morning he changed his mind and he said, it says 5 bakar, and it means even 5 half bakar. Okay, and the reason why I didn't tell it to you last night on Tomban Aleph now, and this your mamish can't make up. This mushal you cannot make up. This is for Gershon, right? This is mamish for Gershon. The first line. He says, why didn't I say this psak last night? Because I didn't eat the meat of the shor. Right? What does that mean?
He's busy eating Rivaro and sour cream.
Maybe. He didn't eat meat. Right? There you go. This is the parrots. He didn't eat meat. I mean, the parrots is making pizza tonight. Aga. Let's just let everybody know. But he didn't eat meat last night. So meat is a mushroom.
Tiago, the challah didn't cook, so it's turned on high now for those who want flashings.
Okay, good. So that's I already had challah.
What, you're making pepperoni pizza instead of cheese?
Yeah. But anyway, so he said the mashal is that I didn't eat meat last night. So Rashi says it's very rare that you get a Tosfos saying pshat, and Tosfos is 2 words shorter than Rashi. There's a lot, right? Rashi says, I didn't look into it too well. The mashal for not looking into it well says I didn't have meat last night. So since I didn't have meat last night, I didn't look into it well. But it doesn't mean not to be taken literally. Right? Rashi's learning it as a mashal. I didn't get into the meat of the sugya. That's who you get. Maybe where that phrase, like you didn't get into the meat of the sugya, right? But Tosfos learns the other way. Tosfos takes it literally. See the three word Tosfos we do, Naftali, not the next Tosfos, right? The loyachli bisur de Torah, shari b'tainisaya. He was fasting last night, so Mamela was fasting. He wasn't able to think.
I have 2 pshatim on the side of my Gemara.
What's he 2 pshatim?
Either Tosfos is arguing and it is taking it literally, or he's giving a pshat in Rashi. Le'diktakti tamish al-davar, because shari b'tanis. Not that he ate meat all the time.
I hear.
But that's the reason.
Interesting. Okay, I hear that pshat. Okay, he's saying pshat in a. All right. Yeah.
There's a great ma'aseh in the Tziv and the Beis HaLevi. So the Tziv was way older than the Beis HaLevi. 20, 30 years older, but they were both Rosh Yeshivas at the same time with Volozhin. So they were having a machlokes in the sugya. You know the ma'aseh? They have a machlokes in the sugya, and the Beis HaLevi went back to his apartments. They finished whatever it was. Let's say it was 12 o'clock. I don't know what it was. So like 4 a.m. The shamus knocks on the Beis HaLevi's apartment and says, the Tziv wants to see you. So he comes into Beis Medrash, gets dressed, comes into Beis Medrash, and then the Tziv is like, Mamish wanted, he's jumping, he found that shot in the Tosfos, and the Beis HaLevi says, wait a second, I need to say Birchas HaTorah. So the Tziv started crying. It was finished Birchas, so he said, why are you crying? He says, Azachan Vei for Klal Yisrael, that the Gedolei Adar now are first saying Birchas HaTorah at 4 o'clock. And the Tziv was in the Beis Medrash a long time already.
I hear. Yeah. Yeah. What?
When you said morning, when he said the morning, so I thought it.
Yeah, that's very good. It doesn't say he was up a whole night, though. We can say it was a whole night.
No.
Didn't they have one was like more Bekia style, one was Me'ian, right? That was the way it was in the Tziv and the Beis HaLevi, I think. All right. Very good. So anyway, so that's what the mushal was, that he didn't eat the basar of the shor. Okay. Okay, so then Gemara asks on the top line, Bela Maishna, Reisha Maishna, Seifa. So what's the difference between the Reisha and the Seifa? Meaning, how come Taka, when the father dies and then he shechts it, then he doesn't pay Daled Behei. And when he shechts it and then the father dies, he does pay Daled Behei. So Amalei, he told him, Reisha, Karina Be Utavchai, Kuloi Be Surah. When it says Utvachai, he shechts it, right, means the whole thing has to be be'isr, which it is. If it's not, if he shechted it when the father's still alive, so he was a crook the entire time. So Mamela, the shechita was done totally be'isr. But Seifa, when he yarshined it, when the father died, and then he shechted it, so granted, all his brother's portion in the animal, he was a crook, but his own portion, it wasn't a crook, it belonged to him. So Mamela, that's you need to have 100% geneva in it when you shecht in order to be chayav. And here he didn't have, because his percent he was potter on, right? Seifa like Karina kula b'isur. The whole thing wasn't the isur because his portion of the animal he owned, so therefore he wasn't shechting it as a crook, right?
How far does this chiddush go in shutfus? Is this bedavka when he was maida to one shutuf and kaifer to the other shutuf? Or when he was maida to one shutuf because he figured the guy's going to tell his shutuf, oh, this guy was maida to me that he did it. That maida b'knas needs to be to every participant.
I don't know. I mean, here it's more of a shaila. Does it have to be 100% geneva when he shefts it? That's the way I'm understanding it. What goes on his end is we don't care. I mean, I don't know, we don't care, but meaning bottom line is
it was 100% geneva.
Not the shchita.
Wait, he was maida before the tvicha?
He was maida.
No, he did the tvicha, then he was maida.
No, but it's his own. But once the father died, the animal became his own. So the shchita, his chelik of the shchita was done beheta.
Wait, he was answering. No, the raya was from the brothers. The shaila that was asked was on shutfim. So he's answering that too. He says ultimately he's answering the shutfim shaila. So you pay chamisha chatzai bakar. Also, you pay the other shutf. Is that when he was kaifer to the other shutf? Or when he would have been maida, but he went to be maida to one shutf, figured that those shutf would tell the other guy.
No.
Even that is not called.
He wasn't doing this for shtick to get out of it, I don't think. I don't think he was doing it as shtick to get out of it.
No, but I mean, I would say in general, in most cases of shutfas, if something significant happens to one shutuf, he's going to tell his partner. This guy told one shutuf, I was me, I stole it. I mean, in general, he's going to tell his partner that, okay, I found the guy.
No, he's denying it, but the one portion he's saying, I bought it.
Who? The guy who stole it is being maida to one of the shutfim.
Right, and the
I
other
stole it and I shechted it.
Correct, and the
other shutuf,
other chelik, he's saying I owned it. I bought it off the other shutuf. Otherwise, how's he denying? Either he's a crook or he's not a crook. He's not denying it to the guy. He's saying I bought the other half off of your partner.
Oh, so fine. Okay, so he's saying that it's not. It is a case of kaifer. But if he decided that I'm telling one shutuf because I want him to tell his partner.
No, right.
That would be a full haidah b'knas, not just a half.
I don't know for sure. I think so. I think so, but I don't know.
Okay.
Right. That's what I think. Okay, good. Right. Right. So we said that if he shechts and he found it a treifa, or if he shechted, he took it and he shechted in the Beis Hamikdash, which now means that none of it's not edible. So then he still has to pay Daled Behei. Right? And then we said Reb Shimon holds that he doesn't pay Daled Behei because it has to be edible. Right? So again, but the Mishnah still says that he has to pay it. Right? This long Tosfos here has to do with what about Kefel? So the Gemara is only saying that he has to pay Dalit Behei, right? I'm sorry, that was in the last sugya, right? It's the last sugya. I'm sorry, I meant to mention it before. That long Tosfos is that he's saying by the Seifa, it's not Tvacha, it means he shechted it. So he's saying he needs to shecht, he needs to own the whole thing, right? It's mashma only by Shchita, but by Kefel, he would still be chayiv to pay the Kefel, even though he owned part of it. Okay, whatever, that's the whole Tosfos. Anyways, okay, so he found to be treif. It's not edible, or not since. Even if it's not edible, the Mishnah still says it's chayiv. Again, we said on Friday and we said on Thursday a little bit also, so there's a machlokes whether the shchita is done at the end of the shchita or the beginning of the shchita. I mean, why when the knife hits the windpipe, let's say, right, is that right when it starts to make a cut, that's considered shechted, or you have to wait till the knife goes all the way across and slits the throat totally, right? So Reb Chavim Chuzah says to Rav Ashi, Shma mina eina l'shchita ela b'soif. You see from this that the shchita, this that he's chayiv daled behei, has to be that the shchita doesn't take place until the end. Because if you say that the shchita is from the beginning till the end, meaning that the shchita is considered starting right when he shechts, kivan the shachad b'purta asra. So then once he shechts a little bit, the animal comes asra b'hana, right? Because it was he was shechting chulin in the azara. Right now, if it's asr b'hana, it no longer belongs to the owner. And when is he chayiv in the dalit v'hei? When the shchita is done, right? So memela, the shchita wasn't done when this guy owned it anymore. So therefore, he should be parted from dalit v'hei. Idach loy demari katavach. The other part, meaning when he finishes the shchita, it's ownerless because the thing became asr b'hana. Right? We said it a few times. When something's asr b'hana, there's no ownership. So when the guy shechts it initially in the chulin, in the azara, the second that knife starts making the slit, the animal becomes asr b'hana. He's not chayiv and dalet behei until the end. So then he should be patur because there's no ownership, right? So elamai must be that the shchita doesn't take place until the end. Like this, the shchita and the isana came at the same time, so therefore he's chayiv dalet behei. No, we're saying that he's going to be chayiv on dalet v'hei. It's the chayiv happens right when it starts, right? Meaning, why are you assuming that the dalet v'hei only comes at the end of the shchita? No, the dalet v'hei comes at the beginning of the shchita, and therefore you don't have to say that the shchita is in the end. That they both could be at the beginning, right? He was trying to say that both are at the end. And
so if I didn't intend to do shecht, but I cut its neck a little bit, right away he's going to be chayiv daled v'hei.
That's what he's answering back.
Even if I never had any intention to totally shecht it, I just cut its neck a little bit.
We had this question on the other daf. We just had this question when it talked about the ovdei chochavim.
Correct.
The guy slaughters it for them.
You traced it up as shahir. I don't understand.
What?
He traced it up as shahir. He only started shechting and he stopped. That traced the animal because he was shoyer.
He stopped not amount of time of shia, less.
No, let's say he did make a treif. So what? But the shaila is once he's chayiv dalet v'hei at the beginning. That's what David's saying. He's saying that the dalet v'hei chiyuv starts at the first nix, and then that's it. Right?
Was that called a shchita?
Well, that's what the Gemara is trying to say, that the shchita happens right at the beginning. At least the dalet v'hei starts. It happens right at the beginning. Right? I don't know. Maybe Taka, you have to finish it. I don't know.
Oh, Yeshna the shchita metchila v'atzoif is the whole thing. But as long as the first part of the shchita is considered part of the shchita, then it becomes asr b'hana as soon as you start.
Yeah.
The tavach u'malchar will only be after the whole shchita. It's not a kosher shchita from the beginning. Right. It just needs to be part of the shchita to asr b'hana.
Yeah. So anyways, but that's what he wants to say. He wants to say that no, you shecht right at the beginning. So Amalei Rav Ashi, like Tidchi, right? Don't push it off. Meaning, don't push over Rav Chavivi and say that the shechita is only the beginning. I mean, that Dalav is the beginning. With Tvachai Kula being on the word Tvachai, the same Joshua we had before, says he shechts it. He shechts the whole thing. You need a full shechita, and you don't have it. So meaning, Rav Ashi saying back, no, you're not going to say that the Dalav starts at the beginning of the shechita. It's going to happen at the end of the shechita. So the Gemara says, okay. If that's the case, Ela Kasha, so now you have a Kasha. Because if the Dalad Ve'eh doesn't happen until the end of the Shrita, and then the Isra Hano happens in the beginning of the Shrita, so then the Shor was, the Asabano had no ownership when Dalad Ve'eh took place. So how are you going to answer that? Amalei, again, another very specific case. Amalei Hachi Omer of Gamda Mishmei Derava, when Sheshochan Mikza Simona Bechutz, Vegamra Befnim. It's talking about where he shechted part of the animal right outside the Beis Hamikdash. Another genius, right? Right? He takes the animal. He knows he's going to shecht chulin nazar. Why? This guy's having a bad day, right? But he wants to make sure he's chayv on all the things. So he starts the shechita outside the Beis Hamikdash. So there's nothing usher about that. Then, as he's cutting, I don't know if that works at the shechita rachamim. I don't know. He moves the animal inside and finishes off the shechita.
I'd like to see some pictures or videos of that.
Oh,
what happened to these kahanim that we have on this year? What are they doing, these guys?
No, shechita could be by a zara bar.
Yeah, but don't they watch? What are they doing?
I guess.
Bar, it depends if the market's open that day or not.
Yeah, give me a break.
They're watching the playoff game.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, so
it's called delegating.
Yeah, any videos from what's the name on this of a guy going in and out of the Beis Hamikdash, half shechted, full shechted?
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting videos I saw today.
The David is interested in seeing it, but anyway, so again, what he did was he shechted part of it on the outside and then moved it into the inside. So when did the chiyuv of shchitas chulin ba'azara happen? At the end, which is at the same time that Dalad Ve'eh happens. So since they happen at the exact same time, so therefore he is chayiv Dalad Ve'eh, even though the animal is going to be also because both of them took place at the end. Okay, the Gemara says the same Gemara, but a slightly different. There are those that say this back and forth. On another case, Amar of Shimon Mishum de Rebbe Levi Saba, and
see, Aaron, you should at least if you delegate it to a younger Levi, yeah. But you picked out Levi Saba to delegate to.
It's Levi Saba. Interesting. Yeah.
He couldn't catch up to this guy.
Yeah. So, he held different. He held Ein l'shchita l'b'tzayv. He didn't have to catch up. He thought he had time, right? Because he says the shchita is only at the end. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Yeshin l'shchita mitchila b'tzayv. Again, the previous Gemara was assuming Ein l'shchita l'b'tzayv. Now this Gemara, this version of the Gemara is saying it's a machlokes. Whether again, Eina l'shchita l'b'sayf is that the shchita is only chal at the end, and Rabbi Yochanan says yesh l'shchita mitchila b'sayf that starts from the beginning. Amar leRav Chaviv machazina leRav Ashi le'mek kasav Rabbi Yochanan chulin sheneshkut azar lav deiraisa. So if that's the case, Rabbi Yochanan holds that the shchita starts in the beginning, then he's going to have to hold that chulin that gets shechted in the Beis Hamikdash is not a deraisa on Talmud Beis. Why? The Isag that is deraisa. Because if you're going to hold it's deraisa, michishachila purta asra. Right when they shechts a little bit, it becomes asra again because Rabbi Yochanan holds that the shechita starts right at the beginning, and idach lav the marakatavach, and the rest. When he finishes the shechita, since the shechita starts at the beginning, so it becomes asa ba'ana because he's shechting outside the Beis Hamikdash. He's shechting chulin inside the Beis Hamikdash. So the shechita makes it asa ba'ana right when he starts shechting, and the Daled Ve'eh doesn't take place until the end. So how he's not shechting anybody's shor because the shor is asa ba'ana, unless you say that midairaisa it's mutar ba'ana. So since midairaisa it's mutar ba'ana. So then it's midairaisa. We're talking about deraisa here. So midairaisa he has to pay Daled Ve'eh because midairaisa it's mutar ba'ana. Midarabanan it's also ba'ana, but that's not going to interfere with him having to pay Daled Ve'eh. So must be Rabbi Yochanan holds it's the Rabbanan. No, you don't have to say this whole title. Because we're saying that Daled Behe also, you're saying your assumption is Daled Behe doesn't kick in until the end of the Shechita. Now I'm going to tell you, no, that Daled Behe also kicks in at the beginning of the Shechita. Don't push off what Rav Chaviva's raya was, because he says it says in this that you need to shech the entire thing, right? And you don't have that when you shechts a little bit, right? So if that's the case, meaning don't say that the shechita, the Daled Behe, only takes place in the beginning, right? Because he says tvacha means you need to have a full shechita in order to be chayav Daled Behe. Fine, it's ela kasha. So then you have a kasha, which here is not necessarily a kasha. It's just a. I don't know if it's a kasha. Just saying. So now we're back to saying that Rabbi Yochanan must hold that if you shecht chulin in the Beis Hamikdash, it's only also with the Rabbanan, not the Raisa. Amalei hachi amar Rav Gam the Mishmei the Rabba ki kam chayav going to shachat mikza simanin bechutz v'gamar b'mifneim. Again, it's saying talking about this weird situation where he shechted the animal a little bit in the outside and finished it off in the inside. So when he finished it off, that's when the shechita was chayav al Beis Hamikdash, and that's when he also had the Daled Behe. So it came at the same time. So that's why he's chayav Daled Behe, even though this thing is also bahana. So comes out, bottom line is if a guy does shecht, a guy steals an animal, brings it into the Beis Hamikdash, and shechts it, and a chanami, according to not all opinions, but according to the way the Gemara is learning, then Hitaka would be part on Daled Behe. He would be part of Daled Behe. Right? That's where it gets tricky, because you say, okay, somebody took an animal, stole it, shechted in the Beis Hamikdash, chayav or not? So say, oh, the Mishnah says he's chayav. Yeah, the Mishnah is talking about the weird case. The Mishnah is talking about a weird case where he started out outside the Beis Hamikdash and brought it in. But had he started inside the Beis Hamikdash, the Mishnah would be a different case. It's just a classic. We had this a few times over the last week. That's a classic why you can't paskin from a Mishnah, even though we just got finished saying in brachas that we were paskin from a Mishnah. Okay, but I'm saying, but you have to know what the Gemara adjusts, what the Mishnah is saying. Okay, back to Zok the Mishnah. Now we do Eidim Zayim. So Gonav, Mishnah Gonav al Pishnayim. He stole it with two Eidim. The Tavach Umachar al Pihen, and he shechted and he sold it on the same two Eidim. Okay, so now he's chayiv Daled Behe. B'nimtzu Zayimim, and then. Right, you always need that, right? When you have a confusing sugya, when you chayav Daled Behe or not, then you throw Zayimim into it. You know that's that's just going to make it another step of confusion, right? So now, really, he's chayav to pay Daled Behe, and now these Eidim were found to be liars. So Mishalmin Hakol, the Eidim Zayimim have to pay everything. Right? They have to pay the full because they caused this guy. They lied straight through.
Everything means Daled Behe.
Daled Behe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Go. But now the next case is where it's more complicated. It's not complicated, but it's more. Yeah, it's a little bit more technical. Gonav al Pishnayim. The Gneva happened with two Eidim. The Tavach Umachar al Pishnayim Acherim. But the Shechita or the sale happened with two others. Elu ve'elu nimtzu Zayimim, and they're both found Zayimim. Now how do you split it up? So now Harishayim Mishamet Tashumei Kefal. So the first set that were liars are going to have to pay kefel because they were mechayiv the guy to pay kefel because they lied about his stealing, right? When you lie about somebody stealing and the guy didn't admit it, he would be chayiv to pay double. These guys lied, so that's it. So they have to pay kefel. V'achrayim, and the second ones who are also liars, mishamet tashumei gimel, which is really beis v'gimel, right? Because kefel's double. Then you have daled v'hei. That's on top of the kefel, right? Kefel's included in Daled Behe, right? So the first set was mechayev him to pay double. The second set was mechayev him to pay if it was a sheep 2 times, and if it was a shar 3 times. So Mamela, the first set pays the kefel, the second set pays either 2 times or 3 times. Fine. Nimtzu achrayim zaymimin. Let's say the second pair was zaymimin. So, but the first pair was fine. So then that's also pretty simple. Who mishalim tashumei kefel, right? He has to pay kefil because they have good edim for that he taka stole. And they pay, the Zaymimin have to pay Gimel, either Beis or Gimel. Fine. Echad min achraynim Zaymimin, if only one of the last two was found to be a Zaymin, meaning you could have Adam come in and say, this guy couldn't have been there because he was with us. So the standard case is where both Adam were with them. But you could have a case where only one aid was with them, right? So so then the whole edus of the second ones is batal and memela, but it's not. But they don't get punished because you have to disprove both. But the edus is gone, so he's not going to have to pay daled behei. Meaning, so nobody's paying the daled behei. Right? Echad min harishayim zaymin, but if one of the first pair that says it was stolen becomes zaymin, batla kol edus, then the whole edus is batal. Because if you don't have, meaning, even though the second pair that said it was shechted were not disproven, but you can't make people chayev, make a guy chayev for shechting something if you don't even have proof that he stole it in the first place. Right? So mamela, in that case, if you mess with the first set of Adam, then the second set of Adam goes out the window anyways. Okay, so those are the variables we'll see in the Gemara. Right? So now the Gemara asks you, Yisaitistic a kasha in what an Adam Zayman. Right? A Shaila. Itmar, Eid Zayman. Right? So an Eid Zayman. Yeah? Abaya Omar Lamafreya Hu Nifsal, everything that he testified. Meaning basically what happens is these two guys come into Bezdin and they say this guy stole an animal and they shechted it, Givaldi. 3 months later, two Adam come from overseas and say, these two clowns, they testified 3 months ago, they're liars. They were with us at the ball game. It can't be that they were where they were at. Now, the problem is that these Adam every week came in and said Adus for the last 3 months. And now they get disproven. Do we say that everything that they said for the last 3 months is out the window? Or do we say, no, they only became liars right now, so only Adus from here on in? It's a hard shiloh to digest.
Well, that's...
What?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hard shiloh to digest because the bottom line is we proved as of 3 months ago that this guy's a liar. Right? So what are you going to do with the Adus in the interim? So that's a machlokes. Right? Isn't that the way it works with like traffic tickets? That's why you always push it off because they started. Let's say you push it off 2-3 years, so your points already expired before you even start. No, that's the way it works.
Statute of limitations on these things.
I don't know if it has to do with statute of limitations. Meaning you're guilty, but the guilt happens not from when you're guilty in court. It happens from when you did the traffic violation.
Time served.
I guess it's similar to time served, but I don't know. Yeah. So, anyways, so Eid Zayim. So what happens? So we have to passel everything they said retroactive, right? So everything they did in the last 3 months is out the window. So Rava says no, we can only passel them from here on in. Anything that happened in the last 3 months is not a problem. What's a pshat? So why? Who shot at the Hasid? Havalei Russia. From the time that they falsely testified, they were a shayim. But Torah Amral Tashis Russia Eida, and Russia cannot be an Eid. Rava says it's from now and in the future, because Eid Simon. Why? Because Eid Simon is a chiddush. And Eid Simon is batzim a chiddush. Why? It's 2 against 2. Right? You have 2 Eidim that said we saw the guy shech. You have another 2 Eidim that come and say that these 2 guys couldn't have seen the guy shech. They were with us at the ball game. It's 2 against 2. Why do we believe the second pair, not the first pair? Right? Why do we have to go? Why do we go with one over the other? So it's a chiddush. My chos is the Tais Lahani. What do you see to listen to these? Tais Lahani, listen to these. So since it's a chiddush, hilkoch ein lecha boy el mishas chiddush ve'elach. We're not going to retroactively aser based on the chiddush. We're not going to do that. We're going to aser from the chiddush and weiter.
To regulate them, you would?
What do you mean?
You find out these Edom were paid off in this case. They testified in 9 other cases.
If you passel the edus not al zaymim and you passel them,
Yeah.
that's a good point. L'chayr there you would then that's a good point, Taka. According to L'chayr, according to Rava, them you would ask them afraid because they were Taka also them afraid. Right? Yeah, that's very good. Okay, Ikada Amri or Rava Nami Kabayas Firle. The Amr them afraid of this. Another shot is Rava holds like Abaya that really anything that they did retroactive, all edus they said is no good. Time of the Rava. Here, the reason why Rava says that he should only ask from here on in, on Tamar Aleph now, is Mishum Pseida de Lekuchas. Because the people that use these Eidim as Lekuchas to purchase are going to lose out. Right? Meaning, all these Nebuch, these people that got scammed by these Eidim, now all of a sudden their Eidim that they all use for all their business became puzzle. If you're going to asa them, you're going to mamish. You can make it can be World War III over with what's going to go on. Everything it could snowball. It could mamish. I guess it could kill the economy, right? Right. And Mamela, what did he do wrong? Very hard. I mean, this is when they say Chayshemish with the Paskin and Chayshemish with Shaila. This is it, man. This is like, what do you do now, right? Okay. So the Gemara says, "Might be now. What's the difference between the two reasons?" So the asidu be trei lechad or trei lechad, where two Eidim come and say Eidos against one of the witnesses, and two Eidim come and say Eidos on the other witness. Inami, meaning so they didn't have two against two. Right? He was saying that 2 against 2 is a chiddush, but if it's 2 against 1 and 2 against 1, that's not a chiddush. You're always going to go with 2 over 1. Right, meaning the standard case of Adam Zayman is 2 guys come and say Eidos, and then 2 others come and say, you 2 guys were with us, so you couldn't say Eidos. That's 2 against 2. But if 2 Adam, right, let's say Reuben and Shimon say Eidos about something, and then 2 Adam, meaning Levi and Yehuda, say Eidos on Reuben, and Yisachar and Zvulun say Eidos on Shimon, so then that's 2 against 1, 2 against 1. That's not a chiddush. Avada, we're going to go with the 2 against 1. Right, so that would be one case. Inami de paslinu because lanusa, where they passed him only as a gazan, like Rabban was saying. Right, they didn't pass them out to they passed them as a gazan. So the chiddush, there's no chiddush here, right? Because they either passed them as a gazlan, or it passes them 2 against 1, 2 against 1. But according to the one that says pseida de lekuchas, right? The lekuchas are going to all get messed up. Ika, then you do have that. There is enough kamina. Fine. So Rav Yirmiyah midifti avad Rav Papa ubdu kavasei the Rava. Rav Papa paskin like Rava. Rav Ashi Amar Hilchus kavasei the Abaya, and Rav Ashi said Allah is like Abaya. The Hilchus kavasei the Abaya. Allah is like Abaya b'yal kigam. Right. The yal kigam are the 6 cases that we paskin like Abaya. That the mafreya they are puzzle. Right? Anybody want to take a stab at the Yal Kigams, what they stand for? I have no idea. Well, Yishalom Bidas, and the ayin is
Zayimim.
You have it written down? Oh, I have
Yeah.
it in the Rashi. I got it in the Mois of Rashi, so I'm cheating. So okay, Yishalom Bidas. That's in 8 Zaymim. Lamed is Lechi Ha'omer Me'elav, right? The Lechi stands by itself, right, Rachamim? And Erevin. Then Kigam is Kedushin Shalei Nimseru Labia. Gimel is Gilui Das Begitin. And then Mem is Momar Oichel Be'elav. Yeah. That's the Yal Kigam. Either way, we pass it like Abaya by the Yal Kigams, and therefore the Mafreya. It's even a problem. It's even a problem with Mafreya. So what do we do with this that's messing up everybody's business? That's life. What are you going to do? That's what, there's nothing much you can do about that. Right? Okay, we'll stop over here. Say Satilim. Not some. 8 Tilim. Pay Gimel. Shimmer's Malo Safa Lima Damalocha Techra Shatishka El. King Yevecha Yamon Masanecha Nasura Shalam Khayrim Usod Yisrael